Well, good morning again from 810. We're still talking about the Industrial Revolution, and today we're going to be talking about probably a name you recognize if you've ever been to New York City, Rockefeller. I think
the richest human being in American history. He's one of the richest people that ever lived. His modern day net worth would be close to $500 billion.
Now, throughout the unit, the way it's designed, and of course we look at this every year and you think about it a little bit differently each year. The business tactics, everything he did to become that rich, the guy was pretty ruthless.
But if even that is like an adjective that like doesn't really fully describe him.
Right, because I mean we're also in, because you're also in, they often bring up the survival of the fittest in this particular unit. There's not a lot of regulation preventing them from doing what they're doing to, when it comes to how they're treating their workers and whatnot. So it's all survival of the fittest. But when I look back at Rockefeller's upbringing and Carnegie's, these guys weren't exactly born and groomed to go to Harvard. Rockefeller's father was a con man dirtbag, pretty much.
Yep.
He had to drop out of school, kind of help out the family. Father wasn't around. Carnegie was,
And much like Carnegie, Rockefeller, literally just slowly built his way up, saved his money, and took over the world.
They kind of going to that. They almost wound up becoming apprentices because of their hard work when it came to that, and they recognized it. And these guys, I think they had to be. I think they were brought up to be cutthroat. It was like all or nothing for them.
Well, yeah, even that time period. It was
the time period as well.
Like you said before, survival of the fittest. It was
I mean, again, not forgiving
No.
what they did.
No.
However, from a certain standpoint, you have to look back and try to figure them out sometimes.
And I always find my kids get confused with oil industry because we're really talking about kerosene.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Like crude oil gets refined and it gives you many different products from jet fuel to gasoline to kerosene, even down to petroleum.
Absolutely.
Like the Vaseline comes from crude oil. And my kids are like, what? So because they're all like.
But with the oil industry, the demand for it is usually high. It's been very high because a lot of people need it for their lamps, for electricity. So when we're looking at Rockefeller, this is what he did. He killed a lot of small businesses, a lot. This is what gives him that horrible reputation, these ruthless tactics. When it came to competition, and we started off talking about Vanderbilt, he was pretty ruthless. Your small businesses didn't have a shot.
And Vanderbilt at least bought out his competition.
Yes.
He was like, I've got more money than you. I'm just going to give you money, to buy. He did not do that.
Right.
He basically moves into a particular area, lowers his prices below that of the competition until people started buying him. It's actually a tactic known as predatory pricing.
Absolutely.
Didn't think I would know that, but my wife's a business teacher.
Predatory
Pricing. It's actually something Walmart was famous for doing. I think we have a slide on Walmart.
There we go.
It's something Walmart was famous for doing. They moved into an area, cut prices, and their motto is low prices every day. They move in, they shut down all those mom and pop businesses, and they got that model from Rockefeller.
Now the mom and pop businesses and the small businesses, all right? Because sometimes students get confused with this. Your small businesses. When you're looking at your community, I'm thinking of barbershops. I'm thinking about barbershops. Mr. Kogan doesn't know what a barbershop is, but that's where you go and get your hair cut.
My barbershop is my bathroom.
But you're looking at your delis. You're looking at your small family-owned restaurants like your pizza places. These are the ones where they're not getting big money from a particular corporation.
Yeah.
Now with a business like Walmart, when they come into a neighborhood, the thing is that when you look at what you can get at Walmart or Target or Target if you're fancy. This is like your one-stop shopping. You can pretty much get everything there. So when a Walmart comes into your neighborhood, this small business is going to be really threatened.
The grocery store, the hardware store, the toy store, the pharmacy, the eye exam place.
And again, depending on who you talk to when it comes to Walmart, because of their low prices, going back to what Mr. Kogan was bringing up with Rockefeller, it's very convenient. It's fast, it's efficient, it's convenient, it's cheap. So your small businesses are going to be very, very threatened by a Walmart.
And
see them go.
And then when you've eliminated your competition,
right?
The one thing that you can now do with those prices, you then raise them to whatever you want them to be because you have nobody competing against you.
Do you even have you have a small family-run hardware store?
Yes, Carp's Hardware.
Really?
Yep, we still shop there.
That's like the one thing that I think is left.
Because, and it really is, it's like, do I want to jump in the car and drive the 15, 20 minutes to Home Depot or Lowe's, or I can literally go around the corner to this guy I've been shopping at, my family's been shopping at since I was a little, the guy owned it, my dad used to bring me to Cars Hardware.
So I'm glad you're bringing up the whole, your family used to go there. The thing with small businesses is that they spend more time trying to build a relationship with their customers. They want generations to come back. A barbershop, they do that as well. The small pizza places, if I go to a small pizza place right by me, Lenny knows me. He knows my son since he was born. He knows what he likes, and there's that relationship. You're not going to get that at Papa John's.
We order every Friday night.
Right, yeah.
Every Friday night we order a large pie, half pepperoni, and a grandma pie. And I say that, and the girl on the phone goes, "Is this for Kevin?"
Right.
Like, yes, it is.
Deer Hills Deli.
Yep.
You and I like Deer Hills Deli. On Friday is my special breakfast day. How's it going? I like to call in an order. Oh yeah, is this John? Yeah, usual? Yeah, see you in a bit, Kathy. And that's, and you kind of get that type of relationships with small businesses. Your Walmarts or Home Depots, you really don't.
Or your Standard Oils.
Or your Standard Oils, you really don't. They don't have that personal touch because low prices, profit. It's a corporation, which we'll get into. And when you look at just a map I took from where Walmart is located.
My kids are always like, "Why isn't Walmart here?" It's like, because that's the middle of the desert.
They're going to sell stuff to roadrunners.
Yeah.
Or a coyote. But, when we're talking about big businesses, again, to try and make this comparison to, your big, ruthless businesses of today compared to like Rockefeller, Amazon as well is going to be one of those.
And again, compare, like Jeff Bezos has like 1/10 of the overall wealth that Rockefeller had. And Bezos is the richest man in the world right now.
And the thing with Amazon is that even during since we're talking about small businesses, even during an epidemic, you and I were worried about our small business friends. Like for example, Deer Hills Deli. Amazon probably during a pandemic probably did very well.
Oh yeah.
Very well. Because this is how I
shop
ordered
from
just
home,
about everything. Yeah,
shop
exactly.
from home, click a button.
Lazy man shopping, All right, so when we get to Rockefeller.
Can I just smack him?
Rockefeller? You're not a fan?
Not a fan.
I'm trying to understand them. Why is it? Is it the...
It's like when you put profits over people,
okay.
It just becomes like, when is enough enough? The dude had equivalent of $500 billion.
Right.
Like, was $100 billion not enough? And it's his, Rockefeller Center and all, the things that are out there today, that was donated by his children.
Yeah, later
and his
on.
grandchildren.
Yeah, he was, out of, as far as all the ruthless ones, he was probably the most ruthless.
Yeah.
But again, no rules preventing him.
Yeah. Although there is a great scene in Men Who Built America where they're saying...
You call it monopoly?
Yeah.
I call it enterprise.
Yes. It's just...
And when we talk about the free enterprise system, we'll put that vocabulary word right there.
Yep.
This was a private company. He was successful, and when you get towards the end of his life, when they accuse him of being monopoly, he was...
What Monopoly, like the little board game?
Yeah, the board game, which we'll get to another one, where he controlled everything. When we're looking at him towards the end of, I guess his reign as the rich guy, it was almost like if you're him, you're like, wow, I'm getting punished for being not only successful, but super successful.
Yeah.
Again, not trying to excuse him, but trying to wrap my head around these bad guys, as you like to refer to them. Now, when we're looking at Standard Oil, of course, and we'll probably do something separate with this when we're looking at advertisements, oil is going to be used for lamps. Homes need lamps.
And then eventually
and
heating,
oil. And
lamps was the big one.
But when we look here, I always like this because he was sent out there to in Pennsylvania to see if there was any oil. He reported back there was none, and then he winds up doing all the investing for himself.
Yeah, and he wasn't into the drilling.
No.
He even said, drilling is like a lottery. You don't know if you're going to find it.
Yes.
He dealt with the refining of the oil. He let other people find it.
Yeah.
Find it. He bought it from them, refined it into kerosene, gasoline, petroleum, whatever it would need to be refined into, and that is where he makes his wealth.
So he winds up building these oil refineries. Oil was needed to be purified to make kerosene, and then Mr. Kogan went into the different uses of oil. When we're looking at Standard Oil Company, Rockefeller used profits from his oil refinery to buy up other refineries and combine them. When we talked about vertical integration, I don't know about this, but in terms of him getting huge profits, I'm surprised he didn't buy up the lamp companies, or the industry itself, or try to control it.
Yeah, because Standard Oil was really more that horizontal integration.
Right.
He didn't buy railroad. Like he relied on Vanderbilt.
Right.
You know, he got those rebates from the previous lesson we talked about Vanderbilt offering rebates. He was the one that profited from those rebates.
The reason that this is in my head, because when we look at what Rockefeller did, and you know, if you look at marketing, I'm sure there's some good articles on how he markets his product, but if you go on eBay, and I'm looking for artifacts that are related to Standard Oil, not only did, I mean, they have Standard Oil's just everything. Matchbooks, ashtrays, you name it.
Yep.
Banners, signs. I'm surprised he didn't try and dip into this. Maybe I don't know about it, but
Yeah. And like Standard Oil today no longer exists, but it does.
Yeah.
Like Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, BP, those are the remnants of Standard Oil.
So we want to break these two down?
Separate one?
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you want to do this one at least?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Mr. Kogan likes to, you know, put Rockefeller in this whole bad guy thing. So we're going to look at the pros and cons as we move forward with Standard Oil. But if we're looking at this political cartoon, here we have this octopus. And again, if you look at the tentacles, he seems to be controlling certain things.
And the octopus in political cartoons
Yeah.
is always depicted as the bad guy.
Yeah,
and it's
it
like
is.
it's really unfair
Right.
to the octopus, because it's like one of the smartest creatures in the city.
Very peaceful.
You know,
too.
yeah, and it gets this bad reputation because it is a horrible looking alien.
The
looking
cartoon
monster.
world did that a lot
Yeah,
too. Tom
yeah.
and Jerry cartoons really.
Yeah, Popeye, the movie Popeye.
Yeah.
Dating ourselves right there, but yeah.
So if you look at the tentacles, though, he's got his arms wrapped around the Capitol,
I think this is the White House.
the
over
White House
here.
over here.
This looks like politicians. Shipping back over here. Oh no, he has his eyes set on the White House. That's what
Yep,
it
there
is.
we go.
This might be the Supreme Court over
Yep,
here.
and then we have the Capitol.
You know.
So yeah, you look at it, all in the eyes here. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely an evil octopus. And again, when he's having his tentacles wrapped around these things, you know, it's giving that indication that he's got a lot of control. He's got a lot of power.
Equals power. You know, and his eyes are set on the White House. Rockefeller wanted his family in the White House, and he almost gets there.
Right.
His grandson,
I'm not
I
sure.
think it was his grandson, becomes vice president of the United States under, I want to say Nixon. I think Rockefeller
Got me on that one.
was Nixon's vice president.
We'll double check
Nixon's
and
first
clarify
term. Yeah,
if
I'll
we
have to
need to.
double check.
But when we're looking at, you know, the evil of him, well, you know, it's all the control, it's the power, and how is he getting to become this powerful? You know, again, putting other businesses out by lowering the prices. When you don't have competition,
Control.
you're raising prices.
It's all about control.
Power and influence. When we're looking at the fact that he's getting heavily involved in government as well, you know, now you're able to kind of pay off politicians to pass laws that favor your industry. Maybe not launch an investigation to see if you're actually, in fact, corrupt.
You know, and if you give
Yep.
it for a second, this is similar to this one. You know, with Vanderbilt having control, you know, wealth equals power.
Yep.
It always has, it always will.
You know, they usually have a politician in their pocket pretty
Yeah.
much somewhere. He did this by setting up a trust, group of corporations run by a single board of directors. And again, he did this by buying out his competition, especially the smaller ones. He manages all the companies that had previously been rivals. These are certain things he did.
The Standard Oil Trust. If you own stock in the Standard Oil Trust, you were probably doing well.
In terms of marketing, the stuff he has, the signs and all that stuff, which is pretty valuable today, I think we'd call it swag. I mean,
Yeah.
he had some really cool
Yeah.
stuff. It's still priceless. I mean, I've had difficulty trying to buy a Standard Oil sign.
But the bigger they are,
The harder they fall.
the harder they fall. And eventually he will meet his match in Theodore Roosevelt.
Thank you for watching.